said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water.
What's up, everyone? It's the Offscouring Odyssey, back with episode 2. And today we have my boy Sal. Now, Sal is a great friend of mine, one of my best friends, and not many people actually know that because he's always working. Always working. I met him at Pizzaria I worked at and currently work at every week, so on here and there. He is the definition of what we're trying to bring to this podcast besides the specialist in each field. So, of course, our last guest, Ojan, he was a specialist in physical therapy. And this is the different aspect of the channel where we just want to bring good souls out to the world, and these people should be expressed in a way that they should be expressed and recognized and earn respect because they're good people, and this world needs people like this. So, what's up, Sal? How you doing, brother?
Another day, another dollar.
I feel you, fabulous. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like the outfit. What are you wearing?
So I got some black skinnies on. I'm glad you asked this question. So these are Mason Margiela shoes, and this is Mason Margiela shoes here, and these were actually owned and worn by Little Uzi Vert. Real fact, no cap here.
And how'd you get a hold of him? Were you able to tell us anything about that?
So one of my best friend's dad used to be his manager at one point, and he's got a ton of his stuff. He's even got one of his dreadlocks. Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff. So these were a gift, and yeah, I appreciated them a lot.
Goodness hell.
Everything else on the outfit's cheap. Ray-Bans, plain Gildan.
Now, did you get the outfit idea from, you told me before, but I don't know if you stuck with it, Gunna? Is it a Gunna representation?
So I was gonna rock with a Gunna style, a Gunna inspiration style, but it didn't feel too genuine. So I went more of a, let's say, like punk style. That's more me. It's
being
more
you,
genuine.
being
Yes,
you. That's
sir.
what we want, bro. That's
Yes,
what we
sir.
want. So, one thing I wanted to get out of the way is that this man works his ass off. He busts his balls. He works 6 days a week, and this is one of the reasons I had to schedule him out. What is it, a month and a half ago? We asked for a Monday
Maybe
shift?
longer.
Monday day, maybe longer.
Yep.
One of the hardest working people I know by far. It's been, I think, 2 years now since I knew him, and I can't tell you a day he took off just to take off. Now, approaching the aspect of money and I wouldn't say capitalism because that's what the whole country is, but when you work hard as much as you do, what goes in through your mindset? Like, you wake up and you're in a pizzeria all day. What goes in your head when you're doing that every day?
At this point, it's my life. When you own a pizzeria, it has to be your life. It's your life, 100%. Your family life is gonna struggle a little bit. Your social life is gonna struggle a little bit. But I want to be different. I don't want to be average. So therefore, you have a hard time getting along with people when you work so much, because not too many people work as much as I do.
No one works as hard as you do, brother.
I work 70 plus hours a week, which I want to say is 1% of America works that much. So when you talk about values and just when you're socializing with people, it's a little bit hard to get along with people, because the things that they would complain about are things that I guess I would say I dislike about people.
And what do they complain about specifically? Keep talking. I'm just fixing your mic.
Okay. So let's say like, oh, I had this event and my boss wouldn't let me take off. Whereas for me, like, let's say my birthday, like, I'm not asking somebody to cover me on my birthday.
You're working on your birthday.
My birthday is just another day to me.
Okay.
Like, it's just another day. Like, you start to put a little bit less value on things. Like sentimental value. Like, there's a graduation this day, or it's a birthday, or it's just like, for me, it's just another day. Like, just get your ass to work.
Yes,
Hustle.
sir. Yes, sir. Hustle. That's what we want. You're in Hustler Casino, right?
Hustler University.
Hustler University with Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Now, Andrew Tate, when you mentioned him to me, I thought I knew who he was. I didn't. I went home that night and brought it up to my brother.
Okay.
Dude, the guy is something. The guy is actually, look up Andrew Tate. Look up Andrew Tate. How is that Discord working for you? Because I've heard a lot about it. I heard it's very good. It's very good.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't spent much time on it since I got enrolled in it. But the value that I've received from it is impeccable.
What kind of topics are brought up?
A lot. So I'm focusing on e-commerce.
Okay.
But there's plenty of other topics. E-commerce would be an online store. So I'm looking into opening up an online store as, another side hustle. And this basically just gives you all the tips and tricks to do it. The biggest thing is a lot of people, I don't know exactly what it is, but I want to say it's social media. Is people think it's so easy to make money. It's so easy. It
is easy. That easy.
There's nothing easy about making money. You gotta hustle. A lot of times, if you want to make money, you gotta be willing to lose money.
Yes.
You gotta lose a lot of money.
You learn. You live and you learn.
Right.
Yes.
You need to have a lot of liquid cash. Being cash that can be spent, and you might not see it for a long time.
No.
Like it's not easy at all. A lot of people have these false dreams and false realities that they can just jump in and make some money. But no, it's everything that you're gonna do. If it's gonna be worth it, you have to work
hard.
And this Hustlers University, it's giving you a cheat sheet because you're able to talk to millionaires that have already done this stuff and have gotten the success. You can ask them any questions you want. So it is a cheat sheet in a way, but none of it is you're going to make this much money in a month.
You have to execute it yourself, correct?
Right.
You have to do it on your own at the end of the day.
Right. I mean, listen, it's information, but you got to put the work in.
Always.
You got to put the action in.
Always.
If you're not working, if you're not making work your life, you're not going to get much out of anything.
Now, when you talk about making work your life, how do you balance that out with your personal life? Because I think it's always good to work on yourself at the end of the day. So, like, during work, when you have free time, do you take time to work on yourself during then? Maybe journal? I don't know. Like, what do you do to balance that life out? Or you don't. You never know. I don't know.
I would say the best thing to do is go to bed early and wake up early.
Yeah.
I think that's step number one. Wake up early, way before you have to be in work, and work on yourself. You need to work on yourself because if you make yourself a better person and you increase the value of yourself, you are now attracting more positive things.
Yes. More outcomes, more opportunities.
More opportunities.
Yes.
Right. So I would say let's wake up 4 hours before you got to be in work.
Okay.
And just throwing some stuff out there. It's plenty of things you could do. Go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Journal.
Now, I don't mean to cut you off, but you brought up a book to me before. What's it called? The 6 lessons to do before work? What is, like, right when you wake up, you do 6 things.
I want to say it's called The Miracle Morning Before 8 a.m.
Okay.
The first step in the book was list 6 things that are good, that will improve you as a person.
Okay.
So as soon as you wake up, the first thing you do is start the first thing on those list of 6 things.
Yeah.
Now take 10 minutes on each one. So let's say meditate, journal, stretch, go for a walk. So I'm going to wake up. First thing I'm going to do is go meditate for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go for a walk for 10 minutes. Then I'm going to journal for 10 minutes. Then I'm going to stretch for 10 minutes until you do all 6 things.
Okay, and this is supposed to build up, like, your mentality before the day?
So what this is doing is getting the wheels rolling. It's building momentum. So that way, when you get to work, you're not looking for a free minute to go on YouTube.
Okay.
Instead, you're going to say, you know what needs to be stocked up?
Yeah.
What can I keep this person busy?
What needs to be done in the shop?
What needs to be done?
Yeah.
Instead of looking for free time, let's get stuff done.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I love that mentality, bro. You go into everything like, let me put 100% in. Let me actually do it instead of slacking off.
Absolutely.
So the one thing I wanted to talk about, sleep, as you mentioned, sleep is like apparently like a super drug that people do not know about. Like, look up Matt Walker. Apparently, he was on Joe Rogan. He's a specialist in sleep.
Okay.
And he was saying that if you get the right amount of sleep, for your body, you are skill-wise the next day 30 times more productive. So
Wow.
he says, he referred to it as a baseball player. If a baseball player is supposed to get the right amount of sleep, that next day they would. Oh, here he is. So Matthew Paul Walker, an English scientist and professor of neuroscience and psychology at the University of California, Berkeley. Now, does it say anything about him? Oh, here he goes. Has been studying sleep and what happens when someone lacks sleep for nearly 2 decades. And what he said, the one thing he said on the Joe Rogan podcast is that if that baseball player was to wake up with the right amount of sleep, hitting the ball and swinging the bat to hit the ball, he's 30 times more skillful in that way.
Wow.
Which I find very crazy because you're not finding anyone who's actually on track with sleeping. I think the only only people who are on track with sleeping are UFC fighters, and I know you love UFC.
Love UFC.
Who's
Love
your
UFC.
favorite UFC fighter?
That is an extremely tough question. So, my favorite fighter who is active right now, would probably be Justin Gaethje.
How so? Or how come?
How come? Because he's a warrior. He's an incredible wrestler, and he doesn't even use his wrestling to take people down.
Oh, you told me this. He just goes in like straight ahead, right?
He's simply a slugger. He's all action. You will never catch a boring Justin Gaethje fight.
No.
He's incredible.
But he doesn't like talk smack, right? He doesn't talk shit.
He's a little bit of a smack talker.
Uh-huh.
Not too much. His smack talking is I'll bust open his face. You know.
Oh, he's straightforward.
I'm gonna
with it.
ruin this guy. I'm gonna ruin his face. I'm gonna break his face.
What are your opinions on Oliveira?
Oliveira, he's a beast.
Dog?
He's a dog.
Certified
He's a dog. I haven't followed his career until recently, but I believe he's been in the UFC for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just kind of catching traction now.
See, that's what I don't get. I don't understand how come someone at that level or someone that good. Now it's hard to put him in that good of a aspect because you look at people like McGregor, they're just different. But if someone is a naturally good ass fighter, they have to do like 20 fights, right, to get up to that level?
Not necessarily. Let's say their smack talk is very entertaining and they're bringing in a lot of views. 3-4 fights, they might get a championship.
Just because they bring in the revenue.
If they bring in the revenue, plus they're backing it up.
Okay.
They got to be winning too.
Yeah.
But then there's these guys, like let's say these guys who don't speak English. They can't get too much
what
people
are they supposed
excited.
to do? What are they supposed to do?
Exactly. So they have translators, but it gets boring. People don't really want to watch that. It's not entertaining during the pre-fight press conferences and stuff. Now Oliveira, for example, I want to say he wasn't the best fighter up until recently. At least his record didn't show that.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't watch too many of his older fights, but from what I've heard, is he had a lot of quitting them before.
Okay, he gave up quick.
He would start taking some punishment and he would pretty much quit. But as of recently, he's been getting knocked down what most people would get knocked out, lights out, and he gets back up and puts the other person out. So,
now, when it comes to that factor, do you think it had to be mentality-wise? What's in these fighters that makes them fight, man? Because they are naturally just different. No one's getting their face beaten for money besides these guys.
Yeah, there's something special about these guys.
There's something special about them, you think so?
UFC fighters specifically, I want to say they don't get paid the best.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about these guys. There's something special that not too many people have. I've heard many UFC fighters say that it's like a high when they get in the octagon.
They're an adrenaline rush almost, yeah?
Yeah, it's like something they couldn't go out and buy on the streets.
Yeah.
Like, it's a high that's like no other.
Well, they're getting all these fans around them, man. I mean, I'm sure when you're in that octagon and you're kicking some guy's butt, like, the crowd is rowdy.
Oh, yeah.
They are in the moment with everyone around them celebrating, especially if they win. That's a different moment.
Right.
Now, when they win, and I don't even know if me and you can relate to this, but when they win, how do they keep that mentality you think of, like, I'm still hungry? Because a lot of people say McGregor isn't hungry anymore because he's had all these wins, and now when he gets in the fights, they don't see that dog in him. Like, what do you think happens there? You think they just get comfortable?
I don't know. It definitely varies from fighter to fighter. I always had this interesting thought, whereas like the best thing you could probably have, like if you're fighting to become the champion of your weight class in the UFC, is to have the mindset that you are the champion.
Yeah, at
You're
all
not
times.
fighting to become the champion. It's almost like you're defending your belt
Yeah,
already.
at all times.
Right. You're showing these people that you're the champion. And I guess it's once you lose that champion mentality is maybe when you start to veer off
Yeah.
and not be as well in
Well,
the UFC.
like I said, I think they get comfortable. I
Right.
think that's a huge problem with people is getting too comfortable. Because when you get comfortable, you get relaxed, and with the UFC fighters it's different, but you get lazy when you get comfortable.
Right.
Like David Goggins, you know me, I'm a big David Goggins fan.
Absolutely.
His motto is be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yes, and I think that's a huge mindset factor, because if you are always uncomfortable, you're always learning, you're always overcoming, you're always doing new tasks and overcoming new tasks and being a better person.
I agree. I think being comfortable is the killer of growth.
Mm-hmm.
I believe if you're comfortable and you stay in a comfort zone, you're never gonna grow.
Never.
You're never gonna grow. No, you're gonna stay exactly where you are. And I think a lot of people suffer with living in comfort. They're really scared to get out of their comfort zone. Let's say, bringing it back to me working so much. People wake up and let's say they had a bad day, they had a bad night, they got something on their mind, and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna call out of work. Let me tell my boss I'm throwing up, but really they're just having a bad day. You're never gonna grow if you're doing that.
Never. You got to push through it.
Right. Every time you're uncomfortable, you need to do what you would do if you weren't.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
You
You
have,
get
no
what I'm saying?
matter what state of mind you're in, you have to continue the path you were on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Well, I think that's when you see all these NFL guys go to the league, right?
Right.
And they get into partying. So, like the Las Vegas Raiders, is that what they're from? Las Vegas Raiders? Is it Las Vegas? Yeah. Oakland? No, I thought they were Oakland and now Las Vegas. All right. Well, either way, these people get to the NFL, right? But you got to think, in college, these kids are getting treated like royalty.
Right.
But I'll give them all props. They deserve it. The football players, I think, besides fighters, put everything into football.
Right,
everything.
right.
But I think when these players are getting treated like this in college, especially Bama, that school's absurd, by the way. I went there, and oh my God. I think when they are treated that well for 4 years of royalty, or 3 years, whatever it is, before they enter the draft, I think they go into the league with that mentality of let me do what I want when I want, and I think that's why they get in a lot of trouble.
Right.
And because they're so comfortable with being on that let me do what I want when I want, and I think that affects them later down the line, because as you see, these guys are going to clubs, and the sad story about Henry Ruggs zooming down the highway, sadly killing the person, but stuff like that, you know what I'm saying?
And you see it everywhere. It's not just football players.
Yes.
Especially in America. These kids are born with a silver spoon in their mouth. They're too privileged.
That's what me and Ojan were talking about, how a lot of people now are becoming more privileged and thinking like, we were talking about how, I guess because now annually, the wealth in America is going up for people. But also, I think wealth is going down for the other half of the individuals. But these people are almost giving their kids everything they want. And I think when they go into the real world after school, they think it's that way, and they get like a slap to the face.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best thing for a child is to be disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
To not get everything they want. If they want something, they got to work for it. When they do something wrong, get punished. I believe in tough punishment on your kids. I believe that if you are unconditionally just giving your kid everything they want, I believe, this is my opinion, I believe that you're doing this because you want your kid to like you.
Okay.
You want to have a good relationship.
I never heard that. It's a different aspect of.
Yeah. You want to have a good relationship together, and it makes your life easier because you don't have to hear your kid complaining about not getting what they want. But if you truly love your kid and you want what's best for them, give them a rough life. Show them what the real world is like.
So down the line, they're all right.
Right. The real world is struggle and
Yeah.
hard work. If you want to achieve something, you have to work, like I said.
Yes.
You have to hustle. You have to suffer. You have to sacrifice.
Yes.
And if your kids don't learn this and they're getting everything they want, then once they get into the real world, it's like getting hit by a truck.
Yes.
I believe if you truly love your kid, give them a rough, tough life, okay?
Mhm.
Make it hard on them. That way, when they get into the real world, they are the alpha. They have the backbone.
What do you mean by hard? Because hard can go in a lot of different ways. Like, you
Right.
can look at hard as, like, if they have a great game on the baseball field or on the football field, you can approach them and be like, you could have done way better. Or you can approach them and be like, hey, I think you did very well, but keep this and stay consistent with it and don't play down to other people's levels. Be you. Like, what do you say in those situations? Are you still hard on
So
them?
listen,
or?
if your kid is working hard, they're sweating, it's blood, sweat, and tears, they're grinding,
Yeah.
they're putting their all into something. I mean, their all.
Mhm.
Congratulate them,
Yeah.
you know?
Celebrate it.
Celebrate. But after the celebrate, boom, get back to business. Get
back to work.
Right. Don't say, oh, I caught him doing something bad a week later, but he did great in his soccer game last week, so I'm not gonna. No. As soon as you're done, celebrate and then boom, back to business.
Well, I
hard
think
being like, congratulate your kid when they do good, but when they do wrong, discipline them.
Mhm.
And don't discipline them softly. Discipline.
Get on them.
Right, because in the real world, when you do something wrong, they don't slap you on the wrist.
Yeah.
You go to jail.
Yeah. Yeah, it's simple as that.
Jail is nowhere. I don't wish jail on anybody. Nah.
Do you think, like you said prior, the alpha mindset is a big state of mind that people should have? Because when people talk about alpha, yeah, you could say you're alpha-like, right? But you almost have to be all around alpha, and it's hard to put that into perspective because someone could be have the alpha mindset, have the alpha mind, body, anything, but when it comes in the moment, are they really that way? And that's a really, I've mentioned this to you before. Thomas Shelby is actually in the picture behind you. They made that character, so every aspect of him is alpha male like. So even from the way he walks, from the way his facial expressions are, to even the time in between his words when he speaks to his sentence, or like when he says something. Bring up Thomas Shelby posture, and when he walks, bro, you look at this man and you're almost like, I am not messing with this guy.
Right,
Like,
right.
I think when someone looks at you as an alpha, they're looking at everything about you.
Right.
You could have the slightest thing wrong with you, and you're not that way. But I also think that's why you look at the Navy SEALs, and those guys are the all-around guys. Those
Right.
are the men who will do anything they like. Anything that's approached to them, they will do no matter what. And I really want to get this stands up here because I think it's a very, very distinct way of how to seem alpha-like, and a lot of people professionally do this. And I think Putin actually does this, but he also has that hand he walks with. Did I tell you that about that before?
Yeah.
Now, the one hand he doesn't swing with because it's
Right.
like almost a respectable hand. If you make that hand move, you get respect.
What it is with that hand, he used to be something in the military,
Mm-hmm.
and what they taught them
Go to images.
is move the one hand, but never move your other hand because that's where your gun is.
Oh, okay.
And
So
at
we
least
be
this is
prepared.
what I read.
Okay.
And if you ever need that gun, your hand is not up here while you're walking.
Yeah,
It's right there
it's
and
ready
ready
to pull the
because a
trigger.
split second
Yeah.
makes the difference in life or death.
Oh, so that is why he does that?
That's what I read.
You read it on
That's
it?
what
Okay.
I read,
Okay.
yeah.
That would make good sense. That would make really great sense. What is this?
Yeah, you showed me some clips of this guy. This
Nice.
guy's awesome.
This man, but don't be wrong, he is a TV show character,
Right.
but it's based on real events. And I think this man, I don't know how you say it, Cillian Murphy, sorry for the way I pronounce it, is a method actor. So what he does is you know how actors, the camera's on them, they get in their role and they act.
Right.
This man, even when the camera's off, he's still in that actor.
Okay.
So he said the whole 4 months they shoot it, you're good. The whole 4 months they shoot the show, he's in the role. He doesn't come out of it. And he says when they're done shooting the show and he has to get back in reality, it's hard finding himself.
He has a hard time.
He's such in that role.
Right. And I believe I've told you before. I used to act in high school.
Oh, you did tell me that. Very
Not
good,
even
right?
just from high school, from 8 years old to 18 years old.
Okay.
I was an actor.
How was that?
So,
How was that? Was that an experience for sure? I bet.
Dude, it's one of the best things I've ever done in my life. If not the best thing I've ever done in my life. It taught me so much.
What skills does it teach you? Like in the real world?
So the craziest thing that I still use to this day is they taught us something called impulse exercises.
And what's the impulse exercise?
So what they did to get us all on the same page, when we're all going on stage together, is they taught us, and I don't understand the science behind this. I never looked into it. I've only done the exercises and seen the results, and it's incredible, is we would learn how to tap into each other's impulses. So basically, me and you would learn how to tap into each other's impulses.
And what are impulses?
So basically, let's say me and you are both sitting here with our hands up like this. Okay.
And for people just listening to audio, we're just sitting down with our hands straight up. Okay.
Right. So now, without saying a word, without looking at each other, we both have our eyes closed, let's say. At the same exact time, we would close our hand.
Same time.
Same exact time.
How do you do that?
Practice.
So, like, how do you practice?
So, me and you would do that over and over and over again, okay? Until we started doing it at the same time. And eventually we would tap into each other's impulses, and every single time we would do it at the same time.
Is this like a real thing? Like, you can actually do this?
Yeah, we did it. We did it in a classroom full of, let's say, 18 kids.
And everyone...
So, we would have a circle of 18 kids, okay? I'll just go over a few exercises that we did. No words said. No plans, no gestures. We would all be in a circle. All at the same time, we would jump. All at the same time. We would jump and land at the same exact time.
With your eyes closed or open?
Open.
Okay.
Open. We would walk around in a circle, and we all had to look directly in front of us. No one was allowed to look to the left or the right, and the teacher would make us stop if anybody did look to the left or the right. She was watching us. And we would all walk at the same speed, the same distance from each other.
Wow!
Yeah.
How long did it take you to all, like, be in sync for that?
It took, I'm going to say a couple weeks to a month.
Yeah. So it does take time.
Yeah, yeah. At least, it probably takes less time for just 2 people to tap into the same impulse.
Okay.
But for 18 kids to tap into the same impulse, it was a little bit more tough. It even got to the extent where we would simply walk around the classroom, okay, and we had freedom to do whatever we wanted. Whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
Crouch, crawl, jump, whatever.
Whatever.
Make noises. Whatever noise.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that all 18 of us were doing the same exact things at the same time, but you would look and 2, 3, 4 people would be doing the same exact thing.
Just because they knew each other's impulses.
Yes. They were tapped into the same impulse. They were tapped into each other's impulses. 2 people, 3 people would make the same noise at the same time.
Wow.
You can make any noise you want.
Wow.
Any noise you want. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That is something like... Do you think this has a play in, like, what are the guys who do, like America's Got Talent, they go on and, like, trick someone's mind? What is that called?
I'm not sure.
I'm drawing a blank. If anyone knows it, comment it down. But so say they bring someone on stage, right? They like make them sleep, like that. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Hypnotism.
Yeah. That. Okay. So, do you think that has anything to do with like impulses or relates to it? Because you have to know someone, or do you think that's just them knowing every characteristic and body of the or part of the body?
I don't want to say that it's impulses, but it's tapping into something.
Tapping into something, right?
You know,
that stuff's weird. That stuff
Definitely.
freaks me out because
Definitely
if that's
very weird.
real.
I've talked to a few people who have had hypnotism done.
What
to
did
them.
they say? It's real?
Yeah. I've heard people say that they felt like they were floating. They felt like, they were literally floating in thin air. I've even had people say that the hypnotist, with just talking to them, gave them an orgasm.
What?
Yeah, straight up.
What?
Straight up.
An orgasm?
Yes.
How? Like just from the hypnotist doing this? To them?
Yes.
I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that.
me
though.
neither.
That's a bit weird. Yeah. Now that you tell me that, I probably won't
Me
ever
neither.
do
I'd
that.
walk out.
Hey, those
Screw
people
that.
are weird, man.
Right.
But that movie, Now You See Me, you got to see it. It's about magic.
I heard it's good.
It's about magic, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew this. Another fact about me: I did magic for a whole summer.
Did you?
Okay. I don't like putting it out there because a lot of buddies like to say I went to magic camp.
Right.
So there will be a lot of critiquing on that.
Right.
But yeah, I practiced magic for a whole summer.
Okay.
Card tricks mainly.
Okay.
Let me tell you, bro. That is astonishing.
Yeah.
Like when you're pulling off this trick, and the fact that you know what you're doing and none of these people do
Right.
is weird because you get this reaction out of them, and you're like, little do they know, like, I set some shit up. Like,
Right.
or like I did.
Now,
some
what are you doing? Are you tricking their eyes?
So
Are
all
they not
magic.
seeing something that you're doing?
So
But it's right in front of their
sleight
face.
of hand you're talking about, right?
Sleight
Or
of hand,
anything,
okay.
anything in general where they don't see. So when I did the card tricks, a couple of them you had to pre-prepare for.
Okay.
So one of the card tricks I would be able to do is you sign a card, you fold it up, put it into your mouth. I sign a card and
You put it in
fold
your
up
own mouth.
and put it in my mouth.
Okay.
Now, you're supposed to do it with a girl, you're supposed to kiss, and then afterwards, with a guy, I snap, girl, kiss, blah, blah, blah. And what happens is afterwards, you take the card out, and I have your card in my mouth, and you have my card in your mouth.
Get the fuck out.
Now, I promise you 100% I can do that. But tricks like that, you have to pre-prepare for. I'm not going to give out the secret. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Because I still, like, it's sick. Like,
Yeah,
you
that
do
is
that to
sick.
someone, brother,
That's
shit in their
unreal.
pants. You know what I'm saying? And so some tricks you do have to pre-prepare for. Other tricks is just sleight of hand.
Okay.
Like, you're talking to them, and in the meantime, you're doing something. Like, the fact that you can consistently do that and make a living is weird. Because, bro, you see David Blaine, and he pulls, like, cards out of his skin. Like, that's weird.
Yeah,
that
unreal.
man's messed up in the head.
That's
I think.
unreal.
He pulls frogs out of his, like, stomach. And actually, what that is like, you know how people regurgitate stuff?
Right.
You can practice that. That's what that is. You can actually practice regurgitating stuff back up. So, like, if I wanted to pull a frog trick where I pulled 3 frogs out of my mouth,
Right.
I'd swallow 3 frogs
Right.
and somehow keep them down the stomach. I guess I don't know how any of that works.
That's funny you say that because I never tried doing magic, but now that you told me that, I could definitely do magic because I could pretty much do that on command.
If you could do that, bro, a guy made it to America's Got Talent just by doing that. Look
Really?
up the Regurgitator on America's Got Talent.
Regurgitator.
I think that's what his name was, bro. This guy was a weirdo.
That sounds like a Mortal Kombat
Oh,
fighter
man,
or
bro.
something. The
The
Regurgitator.
Regurgitator. That was his name. I'm pretty sure that was his name. If we can't find him, it's no big deal. But what he would do is he'd have someone, say, tie a string onto a ring. And while he was tying, when the string was tied to the ring, he'd swallow it, and it would come back up separately.
What, the ring and
The
the
ring
string?
and the string would come
Wow,
out separately.
that's unreal.
Oh, this is him. This is him. This is him. All right. Play a
Oh,
little
the
clip of
first
him.
picture's great.
Play I don't know if we can play a video for copyright reasons. Go to images. This guy's a whack job, and they were so shocked because he made it, dude. This guy made it to like the final 3 people, and all he would do is regurgitate
That's
stuff.
disgusting.
Man. Nah, yeah. Oh, go to this picture right here in the middle. Top one. What is that? It's a light bulb. It's a light bulb.
Oh my god.
Bro, who's putting a light
Dude.
bulb, bro?
Imagine that thing shattering.
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
Oh my god. That's
Weird,
unreal.
right?
Yeah.
All right, we can get out of this. 'Cause this
Yeah, I
stuff's
don't even
weird
like
looking
this
at.
guy.
But the regurgitator, bro.
That's disgusting.
Isn't that funny, bro?
But yo, he did his thing,
Oh,
bro.
he
He
did, bro.
made it to what was it? America's Got
He
Talent.
made
Good
it
for
to
him.
like the final 3
Good for
people.
him.
But one of the people on there was a magician. His name was Matt Franco, bro. This man was nuts. the thing that got me into him, man, is...
Was this the guy on Joe Rogan?
No. David Blaine was on Joe Rogan. I don't know.
Is that the he's like a tan skin guy. He was like stabbing himself with ice or
Probably.
something.
That's David Blaine.
Okay.
He's tan skin, yeah. But this man, Matt Franco, man, this is what he opened up with. So you have to go through like 10 stages till you get to the finals. First stage, auditions, right? He goes up to the four guests in front of him, has a deck of cards. So this is what he does. He's telling a story with the cards.
Okay.
And the whole time he's telling the story, he's shuffling the cards. Shuffling. And he just keeps laying out these cards and telling the story by these numbers. And like by the end, bro, he even brings in the Joker, the kings, the queens. He uses the whole deck of cards. Bro, you want it? I can't tell you. I've looked it up how to solve this trick, bro. It's nearly impossible to shuffle a deck of cards and know what card's coming out. You know how hard that is, man?
Yeah, I mean,
like
it seems
52
impossible.
52 cards in a deck, I think that's what it is. It's impossible.
Yeah,
and he did it with his audition.
Really?
He auditioned with that trick.
And who is this?
Matt Franco. You can look him up. You can look Matt Franco up.
Okay.
Vin, are you doing good on the switching? Okay. I want to find out the rules with the copyright because I don't know what we can play and not play.
Right.
We can. Do you think
Yo, so I gotta ask you, how'd the seminar go today?
Oh, it went well. It went well. You don't have to worry about Matt Franco. You don't have to worry about him. Shit. It went well. I was nervous, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
Very nervous. It wasn't. So I went to St. Augustine Preparatory School. Great people, great school. Anyone who has a chance to go there, please go there. You'll be beyond grateful and blessed to go there. But I was in front of them, and it was about like 30 kids, I would say, because it was an entrepreneurship third semester. And what a third semester is, it's like a field trip. You know how every school has a field trip?
Okay.
But for St. Augustine, their field trip was a third semester program. So like, there's like 8 third semesters where you can go out of country. Like I went to Peru for 14 days with my friend group. And then other ones that are free, other ones that are a little bit of money. But this one was entrepreneurship.
You said you went to Peru?
I went to Peru for 14 days for a third semester of field trip.
Very
bro.
dope.
Oh my God. I have some stories in there.
I'm sure.
But one of the events was a third semester, so it was about 30 kids there. And the teacher's name was Mr. Husher, great guy. And I was in front of these kids, man, and all I had to talk about was entrepreneurship and how I came up with the podcast, my story, what I want to do with it down the line. And it went well. I was nervous in the beginning. It was about a half hour long. And you know me, I'm very good with talking on the spot. So the way I approached it was like I had a list of all the topics I was going to discuss, and I was going to go a little bit into each topic.
Okay.
So I went up there, talked about class 2021, and right when I started talking, the nerves went away. It was almost like I'm in control.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it went well. Talked about the come up with the podcast, how I came up with the name, studio, because this was way easier than you think for myself, because this is in my basement.
Right.
Like I have the whole basement to myself, so none of it was really that hard. It just came down to actually doing it and executing it, and just being myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just try to express it to the kids well. Some kids had questions. I wish it was longer. It was about 30 minutes exactly.
Okay.
But you know what I did wrong, bro?
What?
So I wrote one of the main things that got me into a podcast was somebody showed me this pie chart. So it's a circle pie chart, and a slit out of the pie chart was the information you knew. And then the rest of the pie chart was information you had no clue about in the world.
Okay.
And like that's one of the things that got me clicked on this podcast. Like, yeah, I want to learn as much as I can.
Right.
But when I wrote out the slit that you know, spelled out you right.
Okay.
I spelled no, K-O-W.
K-O-W.
And these guys didn't tell me until after the thing.
Come on,
So,
guys.
I'm looking up there like a straight dummy, bro.
So it said you cow.
You cow, exactly.
Cow.
You cow. And I didn't notice. It was very beginning, bro. Like, these kids probably thought I was a joke in the beginning. But besides that, it went well. But everything, I at least try it, go 100% in.
Right.
But this is different because all I really do is talk.
Right.
So I try to put that in much of a entrepreneur aspect to them, but it went well besides that. Like everything went great besides the you cow.
You saying you're a hard worker, one thing that I'll definitely say about you is you have passion.
Passion. I appreciate that, brother.
A lot of people lack passion. And I want to say that's exactly why we hit it off right away.
Right away.
I love passion.
Yeah.
When somebody has passion, I love it.
You can see it in their eye. Like,
Absolutely.
This guy
Ain't
wants
that the truth?
it.
When
This
you
guy
see it in their
wants
eyes,
it.
100%, you can see passion in the eyes. And passion is one of my favorite things that somebody can have is passion. Passion for whatever. Passion for books. Passion for
Doesn't matter what
whatever.
it is, man.
I love
I don't
passion.
care if you're a nerd and you have passion for the weirdest thing. At least you got it.
Right,
you know?
right. Listen, even if you're stupid about what you're talking about, if you're passionate about it, I could sit there and listen to you talk about it all day long.
Yes.
Because passion is just, it's nice to hear.
Not many people have it, man.
No.
Because I think when you talk about passion, it's almost like, what's the one quote? Oh, I wish I remember this off the top of my head, but it was like, if you want to succeed as much as you breathe, you will succeed.
Yeah,
and I think that's a big thing that passion relates to, because if you want that thing as much as you breathe, you're going to make it happen.
Absolutely.
But yes,
Absolutely.
I appreciate you saying the passion part, because I feel like especially with the gym field and just podcasts in general, two things very passionate about, and I very greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're very good at talking to people. And with working with you at the pizzeria, literally every single person in the pizzeria, like, you speak to them with passion.
Everyone, man.
Everyone. You talk to everyone great. And not to mention that podcast, which I watched about an hour of the other day.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent,
dude.
We just had a couple of difficulties, man.
Listen, it is what it is.
Nah,
the first podcast, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? You're going to grow. Just like you say, you're going to grow each one. So,
hey, man,
you know
you
what
can
I mean?
ask these guys, man. Yesterday, I was a mess.
Yeah.
I was a mess because, dude, you know Matt Delaney, I tell you about all the time. His dad, I had a talk with him before I did this, and he told me 99% of the stuff that you want that's going to go right is going to go completely wrong. And I was like, yeah, I know that's going to happen. But it really happened yesterday. And, dude, I was a mess. Like, it wasn't for my friend group. You know, me and my friends, it's like a family.
Right.
It was hard, and they helped me through it. But, hey, like you said, we progress and grow each time. Now we know what to do for the future. Hey, we may mess up on 10 different things today, but now I'll know for the next podcast and evolve from there.
Exactly.
You know?
Listen, failures are like my favorite thing in this world. Like a failure to me is way better than a success because I learned.
You learned from it, man.
Learned. There's really no such thing as a failure or a loss because you learned. So
Yeah.
how did you really lose if you learned?
Well, it's like thinking of everything, in a positive way.
Right.
I listened to this guy before, and I wish I could remember his name, but I don't, to bring up the video. There's some way, somehow, within our body that if you look at a situation in a negative way, negative outcomes you will receive from it.
Oh, yeah.
Negative outcomes you will receive. But if you look at it in a positive way, only positive outcomes will come from
Absolutely.
it. And I think that's something a lot of people lack. 'Cause
Right.
if you look at everything in a positive way, man, shit can hit the fan real fast and you'll be all right. Because you're taking lessons from it.
Right.
But the other way around, man, you can have something bad happen to you and it affects a whole year of your life.
Right.
Which
perception is really everything.
Yes.
It all depends. Listen, you can experience the same thing 2 times, but if you perceived it 2 different ways, then it's almost like you experienced 2 completely different things.
That, man. Exactly that.
Yeah, 100%.
Perceiving things is a very, very wild concept.
It is. It really is, bro. I couldn't agree more. It's a wild concept.
That's what I try to bring up today, actually. The kids that I told them that. So one of the questions that was asked to me was, what are some of the skills you got from talking to people or doing a podcast? And the one thing I said to him was, you never know what's going to come out of a conversation.
Absolutely.
Or talking to someone. Listen, be yourself when you talk to someone. Don't be fake, because then they'll get a different perspective of you. But if you talk to someone, there could be 10 opportunities in that conversation you had no clue about if you didn't talk to them.
Absolutely. And not only just talking to people, when you talk to people, give them your full undivided attention.
Attention is key.
Because listen, yes, they might say some useless stuff, but you can decide later if that was useless or not. Take it all in, and then later filter out what you need and what you don't need.
I love that. You should look at it as like a funnel.
Right.
Like what comes out of the funnel at the end of the day.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
What comes out of the conversation.
Exactly.
At the end of the
But
day.
take it all in. Take it all in.
Bro, if I didn't go to the gym, you know me, I talk to everyone.
Right.
If I didn't go to the gym and talk to every damn soul in there, I would not have half the guests I'm going to have on this podcast.
And
you know
not only that, half the knowledge that you
have. Knowledge. Oh my God, bro. If I did not, you can talk to everyone I know, man. I talk in that gym.
Right.
I've learned so much just from the people in that gym, more than any health class I ever took, anything related to that field, you know?
Uh-huh.
But you gain knowledge, and I think that's a huge reason and concept why I started this podcast, because every time we're talking, you're learning something new or you're learning about a topic you already knew. And that's something I explained today very well to the students. But if you just look at everything in that perspective, I don't think, one, this is just my opinion, I think depression rates will be decreased by a mile.
I agree.
A mile, because you gotta think, I feel like depression is real. I can't relate to people who have it, but if you look at stuff in a certain way, like I said, you can activate your mind to look at it in a positive way. And I think if you look at something in a great way, a positive way, you learn from it, you take a lesson from it, you'll look at the world a different way. Because, one, this world is wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wild. The fact that we're living on this earth, you look up in the sky, man, what the hell is the sky?
What is that?
What is the sky? what the hell is the sky? And I think this is something people overlook. We're stuck in this, I don't want to say simulation, but we're stuck in this...
something. We're stuck in
something.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that there is a way to live that everyone tells you how to live, what is that? Like, It's a very distinct concept to talk about. That's why I want to, over time with the podcast, I'll evolve with that concept.
Right.
Because I don't want to go straight into it because it's very hard to understand. And once people get to know me, I think they'll understand what I'm saying.
Right.
But look at the way in a way where you only see it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I love that you just said that. So I think a lot of people almost tune people out because they say, well, you know what? I look at the world this way and they look at the world this way. So let's say like I look at the world in a Jewish way and they look at the world in a Christian way. So I'm going to tune them out when they talk because their information is not good for me. But my rebuttal to that is take their, you're Jewish and they're Catholic. Take their Catholic way, okay, and take in the information and now translate it into the Jewish way.
Okay.
And then make it for you.
So almost like we were talking about, look at it in a different way and relate it to something different.
Right.
And see how it connects to you.
Exactly. Like almost in the sense of like, this is like deep, like kind of crazy talk. But let's say, you know, somebody says, you know, I look to the sun in the sky for answers.
Yeah.
And the sun helps me out. The sun is my savior. The sun brings me light. And then that doesn't resonate with you. Now, let's say you were raised in a Catholic religion kind of way, then maybe you would relate that sun to God.
Mm-hmm.
And then take their information, but replace sun with God.
And relate it to yourself.
And then relate it to yourself. And then you can take that information and you can grow from it.
Well, I think growing from religion is a great way to... That's one thing I really think is important in this world.
Okay.
Because religion is something that gives everyone hope in a great way. At the end of the day, I truly think there is something... A God, I would say. I don't want to get into this topic that much because it's very touchy.
I hear you.
But I think there is a God. I think there is parts of religion that you truly should take into consideration.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And learn from it, grow from it. Be a different human from it if you have to. You know what I'm saying?
And just like we said before, filter out the good and bad.
Filter out the good and bad.
Everything's going to have good and bad depending on how you look at things. So filter out what's bad, you know, get rid of the bad and take the good from it. I really believe that you can learn from anybody. I believe that you could learn from the worst human being in the world.
Yep.
You know, the most vile, sins a ton, you know, like a negative person. I believe you could still learn from them. Just make it make sense to you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
See it in your own way.
Right. Exactly. And just filter it out, you know? Like, you go to church and they tell you all this stuff. Say, you know what? This information that they gave me seems to be counterproductive to me. Let me forget that.
Yeah.
But
it may work for them, but not for you.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
It may work for them.
Or, you know what? You might never know. 10 years down the line, you might be in a situation,
and you're like,
you're like, oh my God, that information that I thought was useless and counterproductive, I now see why they were giving me that information.
Exactly, and imagine if you never talked to them.
Right, exactly.
You would have no recollection of where that came from.
And that's why I say give your undivided attention and filter it out later.
Yes, 100% I'm on you on that page. The one thing we're not talking about it, we're talking about a topic related to it, that you showed me was Scientology. Which was wild.
Did you watch that podcast?
Oh, Leah Remini, right?
Yeah,
I watched it. You're
Is that
right.
her name, Leah Remini?
Leah Remini, I think.
Yeah.
She was flirting with Joe, man.
Yeah, she totally was.
The whole time. I was like, what the hell?
She was like, "You think my nails are sexy?
Yeah.
Yo, take it easy."
Yeah, she's like, "You think I'm beautiful?" Like, what the? Like,
she's like, "What do you like to do in bed?" Da, 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 da.
Yeah, like,
take it easy,
yeah,
girl.
it's Joe, man. It's Joe.
It's Joe. He's married.
But I think that is weird, man.
It's real weird.
Dude, you know what I found out through the Leah Remini thing? Hold on, let me look up official church Scientology. Scientology is a set of beliefs practices invented by American author L. Ron Hubbard. Now, I could be wrong, but I think Joe talked about this. L. Ron Hubbard is #1 for fiction books.
Fiction. He's a fiction author.
Is that something, though?
Right,
it relates to this? Like, isn't that a bit fishy?
Right. So I don't know too much about Scientology, but he was a fiction author.
Yes.
And what I believe is that people took stuff from his fiction books and basically made a religion out of it.
Well, it says here religion, like you said, but best way to put it as a cult.
Cult.
Now,
which is a slippery slope.
Yes,
of religion.
very
cult.
two different things.
So don't judge us too much on how we're using these words.
Yeah. Don't. You know what we're saying.
Right.
But yeah, I think this is a very, very wild thing because Leah Remini was saying how she was grew up with it. Like her parents brought her up into it as a child.
9 years old, I want to say.
She stopped going to school at 9 years old.
9 years old, she stopped going to school.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Who tells her kid not to go to school?
Right,
you know?
right. Talk about like not having social skills.
Yeah, that's fishy, man.
Yeah.
And
they had her going to like Scientology practice.
Yeah. They have to attend a practice every single day.
And I think she was saying it was like 2 hours a day.
2 hours, 2.5 hours a day.
That's
2.5 hours a day. And if you went on vacation, you had to make all that time up. What the?
And you could never be under the influence of anything. Ever. Unless you were on that vacation.
You could. Because it couldn't be 24 hours prior.
Right. Within 24 hours of you going into the Scientology church, you couldn't have been under the influence of anything. And they had to write reports on each other. Yeah,
even if
to make sure
if you were my brother, I had to write a report on you.
Right. I wish I could give more background information on what Scientology is because I don't know too much about it. I only know from that podcast, really.
Let me tell you, we're having a guy on here Thursday. His name's Dwayne.
Okay.
I think he's going to have a lot to say.
Yeah?
He's I'll let him explain himself, but this is me in his words. He has a philosophy of looking at the world. He went to school for psychology and quantum physics.
Okay.
And this man, I think this man will have I'll definitely bring it up to him. I think he has an opinion on it. I think he has a way of looking at life that's very interesting. Okay. So wait for that Thursday because I'm going to bring it up to him.
I'll watch it.
Oh, you know.
You know I'll watch it.
But it's a very wild concept. And the fact that all these celebrities were in it because they had Leah Remini talked about this too. In the 90s, they had a project called Project Celebrity, where all these people would come from the Scientology program or religion and attract these celebrities. So like Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Leah Remini.
Right.
I don't know the other names. Those were the main ones, but these people were in it.
Yeah.
They were in it, you know? And one of the things I thought was wild, so you have to work your way up. It's like a hierarchy, I guess.
Yeah, there's a ranking system.
There's a ranking system. And when you get to one of the ranks, you're able to, don't 100% mark me on this. Excuse me. But you're able to kill someone.
Yes, so Leah Remini says in the podcast that there is a point, I don't want to necessarily say it's in the hierarchy, but they can grant you the ability, you're allowed to kill somebody. And not only are you allowed to kill somebody, but if you are granted this, it has a name, it's something they call it. If you are granted this thing that allows you to be able to kill somebody, whoever that is in Scientology that witnessed the murder
can't say anything, right?
Can't say anything and has to clean up after the murder.
Like what?
Right. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. I mean, who knows if it's true or not? That's what Leah said.
Yes.
But the first time I ever heard of Scientology was let me start out with saying that John Travolta, growing up, was one of my favorite actors.
Okay. I personally don't know that much about him.
Okay.
I guess different time range.
He's an actor in one of my favorite, not one of my number one favorite movie, Pulp Fiction. Incredible movie.
Pulp Fiction, number one movie.
Please watch it.
Pull it up. We want this.
Incredible. So I heard that his son was sick. I'm not exactly sure what he was sick with, but because of Scientology, he wasn't allowed to give his son the medicine that he was being prescribed.
Because they don't believe in it, right?
They don't believe in medicine.
And this is the movie?
His son actually ended up dying from the sickness.
And this is real life, right?
This is real life.
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
real life. He wouldn't give his son the medicine because it was against Scientology, and his son ended up dying.
So he's out of it now, right? Correct?
I don't want to say he's out of it. I believe he's still in it.
Okay.
But from what I've read, he's claimed to have information that will destroy the whole entire Scientology, and he really wants to put this information out.
Well, actually, I'll bring this up after we talk about what is it? The film begins with a diner. Oh, Bruce Willis is in it.
Yeah,
Jersey
dude,
Boy.
Pulp
Jersey Boy?
Fiction. It's such a good movie. It's by Quentin Tarantino, who is
Great
incredible,
director.
dude, out of this world. But the best part about it is the whole movie is set up into, let's say, chapters.
Okay.
So once a chapter's over, the screen goes black, and now it's starts
like
a new
book.
chapter.
Like a book.
Like a book.
Okay.
But now here's the thing, is all the chapters are out of order. So you're not watching the movie in order.
You have to put the pieces together.
Right, somebody will die,
Wow.
okay, and then the chapter will end, and then it will come back, and then that person who died in the chapter you just watched is now there, because it's out of order.
Wow.
Now, there's a lot of conspiracies on, like, these chapters are all taking place in different universes, alternate universes. There's some, so there's a scene in the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie. Okay, and there's one part of the scene where you hear the same line said in the beginning, once in the beginning, and once at the end. But it's the same exact scene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's the intro of the movie and the outro of the movie.
Okay.
But they say the line differently. But it's the same exact line and the same exact time.
Went down?
They say the line, they use different words. They say the same sentence,
Okay.
but they use different words. So that's where the big conspiracy comes, that there's alternate universes. Dude, there's a million conspiracies behind all the stuff that goes on in the
Fiction
movie.
is the movie.
Yeah, he leaves a lot of stuff up in the air. Like, there's a suitcase that needs to be delivered somewhere, but you never see what's in the suitcase. You never know what's in the suitcase.
What
Like,
the
it's a
hell?
lot of weird stuff. Quentin Tarantino was actually asked one time, "What's in the suitcase?" And his reply was, "Whatever you want it to be."
Oh.
I'm like, dude, you're awesome, Quentin.
That's a good ass
It's cool.
answer.
It's cool.
Man.
It's cool. Whatever you want it to be.
to
There's
be.
a lot of speculations. Everybody says different stuff.
Is there any other other movies he's done? Is there other like conspiracies like that?
I want to say there's a lot of conspiracies to a lot of his movies because he leaves a lot of stuff in the air. He's very weird. He's very wonky.
Well,
he
that's
doesn't
how a
do
lot of
things
those
very
directors are,
traditional.
man. They are.
Have you ever
wonky.
seen any of his movies?
Name them. I probably have.
Django.
Django's a good movie, man.
Dude.
Django's a good movie.
like wonky things. Like, he doesn't do this in every movie. So he just specifically did this for Django. If you watch in Django, every time that they shoot somebody, blood splatters, like, not
Oh, I know.
realistically, like, it
Yeah.
splatters. But it's cool, bro. Like, it's awesome.
Well-
like it brings something to the movie.
Well, that's why it's so good, man.
It's just Quentin Tarantino style, bro.
Well, bro, I think Jamie Foxx brings a lot to that movie as well.
Oh,
bro.
dude.
Jamie Foxx. You ever hear his impressions?
Dude, he did a great job, bro.
Yeah, great. He's coming out with the Mike Tyson movie. He's
Dude,
Mike Tyson.
I'm all in for that.
All in.
I love Mike
He-
Tyson.
Mike Tyson is someone who is very, very hard to understand. Like, I love him.
He's sophisticated. He's very sophisticated.
When
and
you mean
he's raw
sophisticated,
and genuine.
I personally don't know what sophisticated the definition is. What does it mean?
Sophisticated, very complex.
Okay, yes.
There's a lot of
going
layers.
on in his head.
There's a lot of layers there. There's tough, there's sad, there's emotional, there's...
Well, you know what he is a fan of, like, oddly? Conquerors. So, like, Alexander the Great, who's the Chinese dynasty guy?
Mao Zedong.
Mao Zedong, and there's one more. There's one. God, he's up there with Alexander the Great.
Right,
I don't know
right.
his name, but he's a huge fan of these guys.
Yeah, he studies conquerors a lot.
Studies them.
Yeah,
Studies their
He
mindsets.
actually has a
everything.
few of them tattooed on
And
him.
You know what he said about all of them, bro?
What?
Which wowed me. They're all mama's boys.
Mm.
They're all mama's boys.
Mm.
Like, they all like they don't have a soft spot, but for their mom they have that.
That's very
soft,
interesting.
Which I found was wild. That all these conquerors, these people who took over lands, who killed people, were all mama's boys.
Yeah, it's very
at the end of the day.
interesting.
Well, they
That's
say
very
like
interesting.
your mom is your very first true love.
Right,
Like,
absolutely.
She didn't give birth to you, you know?
Right.
But I thought that was crazy how all these like exotic people, like, were mama's boys.
Right,
And he
right.
studied that, man.
That's kind of people that, like, from everything else about them, you wouldn't assume, and there's probably a mama's boy. You
Yeah.
wouldn't assume that.
Never
Right,
in a million years,
right.
man. They're taking over lands.
Right. You would assume, like, they don't care about nothing.
Yes, man. I don't know how. I don't know how their mind does that. Like,
Yeah.
the fact of just doing all that, and then at the end of the day, looking at your mom and be like, oh, like, that is their soft spot.
Right.
Like, you think it'd just be like a regular chick.
Right.
Like, it's their soft spot, but no, it's her
Right.
mom.
Now that you say it, though, it makes sense to me.
Yeah? You think so? Why?
Yeah,
How
it
come?
definitely makes sense to me. Just from people that I know in my life and how they are, and that tend to be mama's boys
Yeah.
as well. Not only that, I'm a mama's boy,
Yeah.
100%. So like, I can understand it from that point. Like, I could see similarities between them and me,
Mhm.
and I'm a mama's boy, 100%. Like, when it comes to my mom, like, I got a real soft spot. Like, anybody starts talking bad about my mom, like, ugh.
Hey, man, I respect it. I
Right,
respect
right,
it. You
right.
should be that way. You should
Right. Yeah.
be. Now, this is a question I meant to ask Ojan. I want to ask every guest this. And I'll give you my example. The question is, what is one thing on this earth you know that is 100% real? Mine, to give you an example, mine was that the Egyptian pyramids were not man-made. Like, there wasn't just humans, regular humans like us walking around that made those. Like, I am 100% confident like, I don't care if it was that pulley system they talk about, Graham Hancock, if you know him, great archaeologist. He thinks like the Egyptian people had something to do with their mind, like gravity and alien-wise, where they can move the stones.
Yeah.
What do you think is 100% real? You can think about it.
Now listen, is an acceptable answer nothing? I would like to say that nothing is 100% real. Nothing. I believe that
What about the present moment?
the present moment. That's a good point, bro. That's a really good point. The present moment, and if I really had to say, yeah, I guess the present moment, dude. That's pretty solid, bro.
Solid,
I
right?
like
Hey,
what
you
you
back
said
with that one, eh?
That's pretty solid. I don't really have much of a rebuttal for that one. The present moment is real, but boom, and then we disappear.
Yeah, oh my god. Did you imagine, bro? Elvis is gone.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good one. I like it. That's pretty solid. I don't really have a rebuttal for that one. But,
So, besides me coming at you with that, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. I firmly believe that somebody who truly believes that they really know something is a flaw. I believe to say that you truly know something is a flaw because information can come out tomorrow that's not true.
That reverses the whole time.
Right. I mean, like, bro, who really knows, like, what reality is?
Yeah.
What happens when we go to sleep? What
No one knows.
dreams are? You know what I mean? So, like, at that point, like, it's hard to say, like, what is real and what isn't. Like, is that really there, or is that a figment of my imagination?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Well,
really hard to say.
You know what comes out of that concept as well that I think is interesting? We have no clue if we see the same colors.
That's
That's
great point.
wild.
That's like a great
My
point.
red could look completely different than every
Right.
person in this room's
Right.
red.
Right.
That's weird, right?
And then you could take that a step further and, like, maybe this room looks completely
Oh
different.
yeah, dude.
Like, maybe objects are just
This
completely
could
different
look
things
completely
to you.
different to you than it looks to me.
Right. And that goes back to me thinking, like, I don't really say anything's 100%. Like,
Nothing.
you never know.
Well,
you never know.
I think a big thing that tags onto that is no one is exactly the same.
Right.
No one's exactly the same. So I think looking at it in that way, like, if everyone's different, nothing is 100% because everyone sees stuff in a whole different way. They could look at it the same way, but you have no clue if they do because it's just their say.
Right. And now let's go back to when we said perception.
Yeah.
Like, depending on what your perception is on something, you have a completely different situation.
Yep.
So, like, if you have a negative perception on something and you look at it that way, and then you go into the same situation and you have a positive perception on it, it's almost like it's a completely different situation.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if this makes sense to anybody else or if it's a me thing, but when I think of times that I had a negative perception on, it almost seems, when I imagine it, physically imagine the time and what I was seeing, it seems dark.
The
But
moment that you had, you experienced.
Right, and even in the moment, it was dark.
Yeah.
But like when I imagine good times, it seems so vibrant and bright.
Yes, the energy.
Right. So like, let's say like my perception on life is so much more different than your perception on life. So maybe we really do physically see things different.
Yes.
Hear
Yes.
things different.
Mm-hmm. I think everyone's perception on life is different, and I think that's why philosophers are so big in the world, but not as much as you think. Because you ask a lot of people about philosophers, they think it's bullshit. They think it's just like it's bullshit they're making up with. But that is their way. If their way of looking at life can relate to so many people, then like that's their perspective on life.
Right.
And like there's hundreds of philosophers.
Right.
Like every one of these guys has a different perspective on life. Like what the hell is that?
Right.
You know? Like that's why this man Dwayne's coming on, man. This guy has a whole different way of viewing life.
So this guy is a philosopher?
I personally look at him as a philosopher. I don't know if he looks at himself like that.
Okay.
But he's very into philosophy.
What necessarily is philosophy?
So look up the true definition, but I think it's literally the way you view the world. Like the way you view everything around you.
So
is
your philosophy is your
way of
on
thinking.
things.
Your
Okay,
way of thinking is philosophy, I would best say, but we'll wait till it's back on the screen or up on the screen. But I think that's what it is like the way you think and view the world. Just go to all. Go to all. Click out of that. Yeah. Because I don't want a picture. There's a bunch of pictures. Then go to all. What to say? The study of fundamental... Oh, that's not what I... Alright. See, that doesn't really give me an answer I wanted. The study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence, especially when considered as an academic discipline. That doesn't... Philosophy is the level of wisdom, is the study of general and fundamental questions such as those about existence. So I guess it's a study of existence, reasoning, knowledge.
It's almost like the study of life.
Yeah, the study of life, how you view life. That's the best way I always thought about it, is like, if someone has a philosophy of looking at the world, it's their way of thinking and looking at the world.
Right.
That's the best way I always thought about philosophy, but who knows? You know, that said, I don't know.
Right.
But the one philosopher, I guess I would say, I really liked was Epictetus.
Okay.
And one of the main things he said was, I really wish I knew it off the top of my head like this. It was like, a man does not know his true potential until he actually unleashes the true potential. So, like, a example of that would be like, you could be a dog in the gym. And I always go to the gym because I'm very big into it. You could be a dog in the gym, but you would have no clue you unlocked that until you actually did it.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
So that's what this man Epictetus, if that's even how you say the name. I learned a little about philosophy in school, not that much. But that's what my favorite person. It's very hard to stay on topic with it, man, because you really have to change your way of looking at the world because you're looking at their way of the world.
Right. You got to be open-minded.
Yeah,
you got to really
so
open up your mind.
A lot of people look past that, I think.
Right.
But it's definitely interesting. I like learning about it, just not as a college curriculum.
Right. Definitely.
It's weird.
It's something I feel like you learn on your free time.
Yeah, like you look into it yourself.
Right.
You know?
Right. Absolutely. I agree 100%. I like that quote that you said. It's definitely the truth. Like you really don't know your limit until you're pushed to your limit.
Until you do it, yeah.
Right, until somebody's got a gun to your head and they're saying, yo, do as many pull-ups as you can do.
Oh, I'm not hopping off that bar,
Right,
man.
you think you could do 3 pull-ups, all of a sudden you're doing 30 pull-ups.
Yeah, you are going at it.
Right, exactly.
That's what David Goggins, bringing him up again. Bring him up. Let's see David Goggins. He says, like, the moment you start to think about giving up, you still have 40% more of you in the tank. Like,
yeah,
that's true. Really, like, that's true.
That's truth. I've heard other people say
like,
that. Like,
you actually do have, like, way more than you think that your body gives up, because the mind is much stronger than the body.
Exactly.
And like his dude, I don't know about his body, man. Did you ever hear about the time he had stress fractures in his legs?
During
and he wrapped it up, and it healed.
he wrapped it up.
On its own.
It was. I want to say it was during Hell Week, right?
Yeah. You know what I want to say? Let's pull up Joe Rogan's kick.
Oh, dude, what a nasty kick!
Bring up the kick.
What a nasty kick!
What is it? The back kick? What is it?
I want to say it's a. I don't know.
Look up just.
If you look up Joe Rogan kick, you're gonna find it.
Whatever that is, yeah. Bring up. We want to see Joe Rogan kicking a bag. Because this is nuts, bro.
Yeah, it's
how
absurd.
much force and momentum he uses with his torso, man.
Yeah, for real. It sounds like a gunshot when he hits the bag.
I wonder, why didn't he fight for so long?
Why did he?
Or why, didn't he continue fight? Oh, actually, I'm going to answer this right now. He didn't like how it messed with his head.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't like the brain damage part.
Okay.
Turn off the audio when we play it. Because I want to see this. I don't even care. Just turn off the audio. Right there at the bottom. Yep. Look at this kick. How long is it? Yeah. Oh, right here. Right here. Boom! Now, I wish we could have the sound, because the sound is nuts in this.
Right.
But he just keeps going. He's a big fan of those kettlebells, too, man.
Yeah, he loves the kettlebells.
Big kettlebell guy.
Yeah, I wonder what it is. Like, what is the difference between kettlebells and regular weights?
We're good. The thing about kettlebells is, like, it's almost similar to CrossFit. You know how CrossFit does workouts that engages so much more than a specific muscle?
Right.
I think the kettlebell, I don't know 100%, but the kettlebell allows you to activate different muscles with doing a certain workout.
Okay.
So, like, if you're swinging the kettlebell around your body, it's not just one thing being used. It's almost your whole body.
Right.
So I think that's why he's a big fan of the kettlebells.
You know who's bring up Tony Ferguson.
Tony Ferguson?
Tony Ferguson's workouts.
All right.
Have you ever heard of Tony Ferguson?
I know, I've heard of him. I don't know, like,
dude, he is just a very unorthodox, very weird he's a weird person in general.
Yeah.
He's a UFC fighter. He's absolutely incredible. His workouts are so weird, dude.
What do you mean by weird? What does he be doing?
You just gotta see some of the stuff that he's doing. Like, he stands on medicine balls.
Look at Ferguson
while
workouts.
Shoulder pressing. Like, bro, absurd stuff. He'll kick a metal pole with his bare leg.
This is the guy who told me to
Yes.
Okay, I know who he is.
Look up Tony Ferguson workout clips. Something like along those lines.
If he's standing on a medicine ball and doing thrusters, he's activating, like, balance, stability, shoulders, like, everything in one.
Right.
Go to, no, that wasn't a good one.
Not open workout, no. Let's do, scroll down a little bit.
Let's see what we got here. And everyone who is watching right now,
Tony Ferguson strength training highlights. Let's
look at that.
Yeah.
Everyone who's watching right now, within the next couple episodes, we're going to be able to bring the screen up to have you guys view it as well. So don't mind this aspect of the podcast. We're going to fix it, adjust it, and I hope you still enjoy, because we are.
So he's
what
hanging.
He's on 2 rings right now. Doing ring work. Dude, that's hard.
His body is very insane. He does a lot of really unique stuff.
What weight class does he fight at?
155.
155. How
Yeah.
tall is he?
I'm not sure. He's a lanky kind of guy. He's a really weird dude.
Let me tell you, bro, those rings are no joke.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I can do, like,
imagine.
I can do, like, 8 to 10 solid ass muscle ups on a pull up bar.
Right.
I can't do one on rings.
Right.
One. They're all like, oh, what is that?
Yeah, like, what's he even doing right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, he really does his own stuff. Even in, like, the octagon, like, you'll see him start mid-fight,
Yeah.
start breakdancing. But, like, he uses it. Like, he's dodging
With
punches
dancing.
while dancing.
What?
Yeah. He'll even breakdance and incorporate punches and kicks into the breakdancing.
Well, dude, I wouldn't be surprised with that, because they say a lot of break dancers and, like, dancers in general, one, their reflexes are quick as hell, apparently, just because they're so used to moving at quick, like,
Right.
times, but their strength is absurd. Like, if you ever look at a dancer's forearms, I don't know why the forearms,
Right.
but they're insanely
Really?
strong. Yeah, I remember this one guy I met at the gym, man. He did, like, breakdancing, and, dude, the forearms were rocks.
Right.
And he told me, like, this is one thing, like, you never expect, but a lot of dancers have it. Forearms. What is that thing? I see a lot of fighters use that.
I'm not sure. I assume it replicates the weight of an actual body.
Yeah, and they get used to flipping it and all.
Right, exactly.
Makes sense. So he does a lot of calisthenic work.
Dude, he does a lot of weird
calisthenics is
stuff.
real
Like,
strength.
this isn't even a quarter of the stuff, dude.
Well,
like,
you know what Jean was telling me? He was telling me, like, the difference between, like, calisthenics, CrossFit, bodybuilding, we're going to this vid, like, it doesn't matter. Like, which I find why, like, there has to be, like, a difference between them all. You
Right.
know, like, what has better, but, like, he says just, like, each of them are good in their own ways. There's nothing really definitely specific differently about them all.
Right.
Like,
right,
they're just all working out the muscles.
right.
You're just doing different stuff to work out that muscle.
Right. Okay.
But, like, calisthenics, man, that is real strength to me.
yeah, yeah. I really feel like, at least in my opinion, they're very different in the sense of, like, you know, the guy who does calisthenics and stuff like that, like he might be able to like really grip you up or something like that.
Yeah,
Whereas like a guy
yeah,
who's just lifting weights might not be able to just grip you up like
yeah.
that. Like he can curl a bar real good.
He has the original strength.
Right,
Like those
right.
primal movements I was
Primal
telling you?
movements.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
right, right.
Dude, I wanted, those are very interesting to me, the primal movements, because that's how we used to move, and like that's how we used to move basically. We're
Right.
originally chimpanzees, monkeys, and like I think personally we should all be able to move how we used to, just because our muscles get so tight over time. My brother Nick don't think that way. He was like, "What's the point? What's the point of like moving like that?" You know?
Right.
But I think like if we are originally supposed to move this way, why not move that way?
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you'd be capable of doing more things physically.
Way more.
I actually feel like in a sense we've almost devolved.
Oh
instead
yeah, I
of
think you're 100%
evolving.
right.
In like a physical sense, like I feel like we're more used to sitting in desks.
Mhm.
You know,
That's not healthy. It's not
right,
healthy.
right, being hunched over on a computer, or you know, like even like I've seen just over like the past like 10 years, like if you look at like other people's fingers and our fingers, like our fingers are actually different from holding our phones.
Oh yes, but you know what I wanted to? I don't know if we can bring this up. I don't know what to look up for. Look up Britain archery body structures. I told you about this before.
Yeah.
That these guys, from the time they were young, they would pull back these 180-pound bows. Which, for all people listening, I could be wrong. Look to Cameron Haynes for this, professional bow hunter. The average bow is between 60 and 80 pounds pullback. This was 180 pounds, and these people did it from the time they were small to the time they grown up. They just
Right.
did it their whole lives because they were built to be these warriors. And from the, I guess from so long pulling back this bow, their body structure was weird. So
Right.
like you're talking about like chimpanzees, our body structure was different. This is different in a whole different way.
Right.
So like from doing this for so long, like their arm that they would pull back with was shorter than their opposite arm, and the fingers were shorter as well. I guess from so like, I guess just like the resistance from
Right,
pulling them
right.
back.
It's almost like they didn't need that length on their fingers.
Yes.
It's almost easier with less fingers.
Exactly that. And even their back, like this part of their back on their pulling arm,
Right.
was so much more bigger and defined just from over the years of doing
Right,
this. And I
right.
think, like, if we're able to, like, sculpture our body like that, like, why not just do it in the right way?
Right.
Well,
right.
why don't we just do it, like, how we're supposed to do it?
Yeah,
'Cause
so
we
they
would-
say because of society, our bodies physically keep getting softer and softer.
Mhm.
So like let's say like
By you mean soft, what do you mean? Because I know our muscles get tight.
right, so like if you grab the forearm of let's say somebody from another generation,
Yeah.
it would feel like a rock, dude. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't feel any mush here. It would feel like you were grabbing pure muscle.
Huh.
Whereas like us, you can squeeze it.
Yeah, you
know?
can
It's-
squeeze
it's
it, yes.
Like it's like mushy.
Uh-huh.
It's mushy, and they say that's because like we've gone through less hardship physically. You know,
Wow.
we're catered. We sleep in a comfortable bed. You know, we don't go out and hunt for our food.
Yeah.
So like we have no reason for we have no reason for our bodies to be so strong and so hard.
Yep.
Whereas back then you're hunting for your food, you're
Hunter-gatherers.
falling in
Yes.
mud, and you're climbing trees and
You're in
stuff
like a
that.
wild terrain all day.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's something I live by these people, the Hazda tribe.
Right, right.
Bring them up, Vin. Bring them up. Bring up the Hazda tribe.
How's the tribe?
These guys, man, these are hunter gatherers.
Yeah,
These guys are like one of the last like people on earth that live like this.
Right, and they're still around.
Oh, they're
correct?
still around. Yes,
Right,
yes.
right. Where are they?
They're in Africa.
Okay.
I want to say they're on the west coast of Africa. I'm
Okay.
not 100% sure, so don't mark me on that. But these people are hunter gatherers, and all day they hunt. They hunt for their food, and their actual main source of food is chimpanzees, which is wild. Look,
Right.
is that what they're...
So now, do you know anything about their language? Like when
Yes,
they,
yes,
yeah?
yes. They talk like...
Right. Now, listen,
They
if
click-clack.
if,
That's their language.
Is
They-
there like other cities in Africa that could understand them when they
Yes.
talk?
So
Okay.
the best way a professor told me about this was that Africa is known for having so many tribes. Click out of it, and I want to pull something else up. Hold on, go down. Go to the left picture of that kid. Second picture down. I'll talk about this in a minute. But so in Africa, there's so many tribes with so many different languages. Now, eventually, over time, they evolved these languages to kind of like emerge and be one. So now from what the professor told me, there's about 6 or 7, maybe more, languages in there in Africa with these tribes, but they've all been combined.
Right.
But they can all understand each other because they're similar. So, like, I guess, like, if they meet a tribe from down south of Africa, they can still talk. It's almost like hearing different parts of English, I assume.
Right. It's like a different dialect.
Yes, exactly that. And the way they pronounce everything is using their tongue off the back of their mouth and throat. So, like, having your tongue lower in your mouth can represent a different type of vowel, I guess. Like, I don't know. Don't back me up on this. I don't know 100% about it, but yeah, they have this way of language. But look at this guy's arm. You see how the middle of the elbow is up, like so we reach like this.
Right.
Our elbow like this.
He's like this.
He's like this.
Right.
That's because he still
for
has.
For the people who are just listening.
Oh yes, for the people who are just listening, when this kid in the Hazda tribe is reaching out with his hand, and the way his hand's reaching out is his palms. Imagine your palm up and the indent of your elbow facing up. Now, when we extend our hand, the indent of our elbow is pointed inwards almost, and that's from our shoulders caving in and our arms caving in over time. But if you look at these Hazda tribe people, they still have the formation of how we used to live, and they still have like our original body structures. Now, click out of this. But these people, dude, you know Dave Chow, right? Is that his name, Dave Chow?
The guy, yes.
He lived with them.
Right.
For 3 months, correct?
Okay.
Right?
I don't know if it was necessarily their tribe, but he was with.
I think he was with Hazda.
Yeah,
he was with Hazda. Yes.
This is the one where he was hunting baboons.
Yep,
with? Okay.
Hunting baboons, and this man said that like these guys all day would run. Keep them up. You're fine. All day they would run without drinking water.
Right.
And they wouldn't break a sweat.
Right.
He said they would run easily plus 10 plus miles.
Wow.
And they wouldn't they just keep running and just like they're almost like superhumans. Like so, Dave Cho would run. He would have cuts up on his legs, like blood all over because he's cutting up, and like these guys, their skin was like sandpaper.
Right.
They would just scrape off them because they were just so immune to it. And like they eat beehives. They eat beehives. They eat beehives. Yeah. Pull out now. We need this.
Good God.
They eat beehives because I guess they've been stung or like their genetics. They've like just done it their whole life. That
they
now
just don't even feel it.
They don't feel it. They're used to it. They'll climb up a tree.
Good God.
Reach into a beehive, pull it out, and eat it.
I'm like curious. Like I guess there's nutritional value there.
I mean, if you look at the honey's amazing for you. I guess that part of it. I don't know what else comes from it.
Right. I mean, maybe they get something from the bees.
Yeah, I assume something. Like, why not just clean it out?
Right.
But that as well, and they just do this like on a daily basis.
Right.
And it's. I want to see it. I want to see it because it's wild how these people just bite into the bees. Nah, just a picture. There's pictures of these guys munching in the bees.
It's crazy because for me, I'm laughing imagining a person eating a beehive. And that's their normal life. That's just
Isn't that weird? They've been doing this since they were little kids. Look at these guys. Look, they eat it.
Wow.
Click on the left bottom middle one. Up, second row, right there. Look, bees on her forehead.
Wow.
Bees on the forehead.
Wow.
What is that?
I wonder what it's like. I know the bees will mess you up, like from stinging you and stuff, but like I wonder what like the consistency of a beehive is. Like I wonder if that's like rough. It's got to be rough, right?
I just can't imagine biting into the stinger.
Right.
The
stinger's got to be rough, but like, is the beehive like rough or is it soft?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But there's apparently something in their genetics, like something in their blood,
right?
That every other human doesn't have. So like when they take poops, scientists will go into their camps at night and steal their poop, because there's something in it other humans in the world have no clue about.
Really?
No clue. They don't have it. But these guys are like superhuman.
Wow, that's crazy. I wonder if so I know very little information about this. I heard this story. This woman had Lyme's disease.
Okay.
She had it so bad. So apparently, like, if you cure Lyme's disease right when you get it, you can get rid of it completely. Okay. But if you don't get to it right away, it is like severe. Like in a
This is
lot
what
of
you get from ticks, right? Lyme disease? Okay.
yeah, deer ticks. If you don't take care of it immediately, I've heard plenty of people say like cancer's got nothing on what Lyme's disease can do.
Wow.
Yeah, Lyme's disease is really bad, bro. So and not too many people know that, bro.
I didn't. I
Not
know
too
clue
many-
about
Yeah,
that.
and Lyme's disease is bad, bro. Like people probably think nothing of it. Like, oh, I got a little Lyme's disease from a tick,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, it's bad, bro. At least from what a little bit from what I've read and what somebody has taught me about it. And so this woman, she had Lyme's disease for so long. She was a really rich woman.
Mhm.
She had it for so long that she basically she needed a caretaker. She
Okay.
needed like somebody to take
Some
care of her.
assisted living.
Yeah. And she couldn't walk. She was in a wheelchair. It spread through her whole body. It
Oh
got
my
to her brain.
God.
She physically could not walk.
Was she get paralyzed from it?
Pretty
basically?
much. And then
Wow.
not necessarily she could move,
Yeah.
but she couldn't do anything worth doing with her body.
Wow.
Yeah, she had to be in a wheelchair. She was basically like useless. She could
All
do
from
nothing.
Lyme disease.
Yes, from Lyme's disease. And she decided, okay, I don't have that much time to live. I want to move to California. I want to live the rest of my life in California. So her and her caretaker went out to California and she lived there. One day they were walking past a bush and a swarm of bees came out of the bush and started stinging the shit out of her. Like she got stung a lot.
Yeah.
The next day she woke up and she could walk.
No.
Yeah.
Just from getting stung by the bees?
Right. So the reason she was rich is because she was such a good scientist. So she started doing research on bee venom.
Okay.
And she came to find out that bee venom not only cures Lyme's disease, but cures so much stuff. So, like, I'm not using the correct terminology here, but,
Okay.
like, from my knowledge, my way of putting it, so, like, you have this infection in your body.
Yeah.
There's something in your body that's harming you. It's hurting your body. You can't walk. You would let bees sting you, okay? And the bee venom would attack the virus.
What's in the bee venom?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I have no idea.
We're
I
going to
have
do
no
some
idea.
research on this. Next time you come on, we're talking about this more.
Yeah. There's a huge community of people who it's kind of blacklisted by
Mhm.
like pharmaceutical companies
Yep.
and doctors because it's natural. You can go
Yeah.
out in the wild and get bees, or
They
have
don't want that out, you know?
Right. Or have your own bee farm.
Yeah.
They'll lose some money. So having these people would sting themselves with bees. They're finding like so many different things that you can cure. Like even healthy people are stinging themselves with bees because they just feel so fantastic being stung with these bees.
The thing
From
is,
the bee venom.
I wonder if it's not so known because it does have a bad outcome, like a drug.
Right.
You think that's... Because I never heard of this. I never...
Yeah, it's like pretty like under.
But like you said, if like this gets out, the pharmaceutical businesses might have a problem.
Right,
So
exactly.
You know how
exactly.
this world
I'm
works,
sure
you know?
they get blacklisted a
Yeah.
lot.
Wow, I can't believe that, man.
Yeah,
bee
it's
venom
crazy.
helped
Bee
cured
venom.
her,
Yup,
and
like,
it cures other
It
people.
cures like a lot of stuff.
I'm
Like,
gonna
a
do some
lot of
research
stuff.
on this, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's like a huge community of people who like support bee venom.
Wow,
Yeah, it's
that's pretty
crazy.
wild.
Yeah. I know somebody who told me all about it. He had bad Lyme's disease, so he started. Dude, he was like going every angle to try and find medicine or something that could help him. Nothing was helping. Dude, I used to go hang out with him almost every night because me and him get along very well. Like he's tight.
Yeah.
Tight. We're real tight.
Close boys.
Bro, like it was getting to the point where when I was talking to him, bro, like he was like gasping for air in the middle of his conversation. Like he was on his way to death, bro.
Yeah.
He was almost there.
Yeah.
So I started just seeing him every day because I was his best friend at the time,
Mhm.
and you know he looked like he didn't have too much time left. And dude, over time he discovered this bee venom, and now he's just going to the gym every day.
He's
and-
normal now.
yeah, he looks as healthy as could be. He goes to the gym, like he's built very well. Like
How long ago was this?
seven years maybe.
And he's fine
6,
today.
7
He's
years.
fine now.
Yeah, he's fine now.
Wow.
He's fine now. Yep.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
man. I might
yeah.
want to like talk to that guy, hear his story.
Yeah. He would probably be a good person for the podcast. He's all
Wow.
he's like a smart dude.
That's crazy. Bee venom cures it like
yeah,
that.
Yeah, and like bro, he searched like up and down to like he's
The
like,
only
bro, I'm
thing
not
that
letting
helps.
this Lyme's disease take my life, and he figured it out.
Wow.
Yeah. Another crazy thing, bro. You know, like I'm big on the fasting. Like,
Yes,
I know
yes,
a lot about
big
fasting. Bro, there's a doctor. Oh, I wish I knew his name, bro. He has cured so many people with fasting.
Is this the water fasting guy you told me about? How they water
yeah.
fast and they cured cancer, right? Like
Yeah. He not only has people water fast, he has people dry fast as
Okay.
well.
For everyone listening, we are going to find this doctor and put him in the link of the bio.
Yeah.
Because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he cures people, bro. Like doctors will say, okay, you got another year to live. Like this cancer is gonna kill you.
And they go to this guy and he tells them to do a certain way of fasting.
Yup. Last resort, they're like, listen, I thought you were bullshit. Like I went to everybody else. Like give it a shot. Let's see what you can do.
Wow.
So he puts them on like a 30 to 40-day fast. Some of these people don't even have water during this fast. He just like has a nurse with them to make sure nothing wrong happens to them. He gives them like vitamins. I think in some cases he gives them like a little bit of salt. And then after this 30 to 40-day fast, he sets them up with a very strict diet. Like at this time you need to have this food, and at this time you need to have this food.
He knows the science behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got to be the correct weight. It's got to be the correct food. Like, and they go back to their doctor and they're like, "Hey, remember when you said I was gonna die in a year?" And they're like, "Well, check me out now." And like, they're literally perfectly fine.
That's
Perfectly
crazy.
healthy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man. We're gonna end it on that note because I think that's a perfect way to end it.
Note to end it on.
Those
100%.
two topics you just talked about, man, were wild, and I think people are gonna take a lot from that and do their own research as well.
Right.
We're gonna find the name of that doctor. We're gonna get it to the people. Amazing.
Definitely.
Now, if somebody, I know you're not a big social media guy, not big social media. Milano Pizza, best pizza in Jersey. Milano Pizzaria, go to it. It's in Williamstown, New Jersey. Is there anything else you want to say?
It was a pleasure being here. Stay tuned. This guy's gonna have even better content.
I appreciate it.
This is the real deal right here. Stay tuned. This is the real deal. It was a pleasure being here. It was a great time. I'm glad you got me out for the world to see.
Always,
It's
brother.
awesome.
I told you from the start we're getting you out here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, he's been telling me about this for a long time. This is good stuff. I'm glad to be here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned. This guy's about his business. This is gonna be some real stuff right here.
Well, thank you, Sal. I appreciate that more than the world.
Absolutely.
And he's not lying to you. I'm going to do my best I can to get you guys the best content I can to you guys. The Offscouring Odyssey, episode 2. Peace and love. See you next time.
Peace and love.